Hey everybody, this is Coach K from IREP Athletics, and today we are honored to have Dr. Amy Eichner on. She is the Special Advisor on Drug Reference and Supplements for USADA, which is U.S. Anti-Doping Administration. And today she's going to give a presentation on safe supplements and how to make better choices in the products that you use. So enjoy.
Gotcha. Okay, hi everyone. This is Amy Eichner from USADA. We're going to go ahead and get the webinar started. We're going to do a quick webinar about dietary supplement safety and how to reduce your risk from testing positive from dietary supplements. A couple of other individuals may be joining us as we go, but that's fine. We'll just go ahead and get started. So thanks for coming. I'll be your presenter today. Okay, so this is me. I'm Amy Eichner. I'm the Special Advisor on Drugs and Supplements at USADA, and I'm joined by Benjamin Wheeler. He's our Olympic Education Coordinator. And you can, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, go ahead and put them in the chat box. You'll find the chat box to your right in the little panel associated with the webinar. And if you aren't comfortable using the chat box, you can also email us after the presentation if you have any questions. So I think what I'll do is get started by talking about why no one, including USADA, can answer whether or not your supplement is safe, but really go through why that's the case, give you some concrete ways that you can reduce your risk of accidentally testing positive from supplements, and then give you some examples of products that have caused positive drug tests or health problems in the past. So it is very common for us to hear questions like, is my supplement safe? Which supplements can I take? Is this supplement legal in sport? Will this make me test positive? Is this a USADA approved product? Can I get it approved? Can I get it tested? Or, you know, we get asked, well, here, can you just check the label for me and tell me if the product is okay? But the truth is, we can't answer these questions. We would love to, but we can't answer the question. And I guess that one of the biggest reasons for this is that the label simply is not an accurate portrayal of what's in the product. So the dietary supplements are manufactured in a way that they could be manufactured in a whole bunch of different ways. They could be manufactured in a really nice plant that has a lot of quality control, or they could be manufactured in a way that is very haphazard or slapdash. And I guess what I really want to impart on you is that the label might not have any real bearing as to what's in the actual product. So here you can see there's a ton of products being prepared for the shelves, but anyone can create a label, and the label might not match the bottles. So what I did is I just went to Google and I just typed in custom labels or printing supplement labels. And I've just shown you the top 5 websites that you can go to, but you can see the results. There's more than 10 pages of Google results of places that will print whatever you want on a label. So absolutely anyone who wants to create a dietary supplement can go and put whatever they want on a label. And we found all kinds of spelling errors and printing errors on dietary supplement labels. So we do know that there are plenty of companies that, you know, they might just be small little companies, or they could be really big, that they just can make whatever labels they want, anyone can, and they are not checked by the FDA before they are sold. So it's impossible to know just from looking at the label whether your dietary supplement is manufactured in a plant like this or whether it is manufactured in a plant like this. And we've seen many examples of both. So to answer the question, is my supplement safe? USADA can look at the label and identify some of the names of prohibited substances, and we can educate you and help you identify those prohibited substances as an education tool. We can tell you the status of the actual ingredients. We can tell you the status of the ingredients that are listed, but those might not be the ingredients that are actually in the product. We can help you identify other red flags. We can help you take a guess as to whether the product might be risky. And we can also tell you whether a product is or qualifies to be on the high risk list. And you can also teach yourself how to do these things. But what we can't do, and what we wish we could do, but it just is impossible, is we can't approve your supplement. We can't tell you for sure whether or not it is safe to take. We can't know what's in the bottle. And we can't tell you for sure whether or not it's free from banned substances. We can tell you whether the label is free from banned substances, but that might not have anything to do with what's actually in the product. So we cannot provide you, in short, any conclusive information about the product. And we strongly encourage athletes to not use the supplement label to draw firm conclusions about the product. Now, there are some coaches or trainers, or there could even be store clerks that will look at a label and then they will try to give you advice about whether or not you can use the product. There's also an app, a couple of apps, where the company will review the product label and then give you like a check for clean or an X for dangerous. I think the Aegis app is one of those, and all they do is a label review. But we found a lot of problems with those services because we have seen many examples of products that contain prohibited substances but have a clean label. So the good news is that you can use, we do have a tool called globaldro.com, and hopefully you've heard of it, but you can use that to check the status of ingredients. So for example, if you go to globaldro.com, and here I'm showing an example of search results, and you look for vitamin A, then you can find out that vitamin A as an ingredient is not prohibited. However, it would be wrong to assume that the status of not prohibited applies to the whole product. If the product advertises to contain vitamin A, we can tell you that vitamin A is not prohibited as an ingredient, but we don't know, and you can't know whether or not it's actually in the product. So the status, if you choose to use Global Dro to check the status of your ingredients, then that status only applies to the ingredient, and it does not apply to the dietary supplement product. So here's an example of a product. This is DEFCON by Platinum Labs. And if you look at the supplement facts panel, you could theoretically enter those ingredients onto Global Dro and find out if those ingredients are prohibited. And if you look down at the very bottom there, this second to last ingredient is hygenamine. And that is a prohibited ingredient. So here's the Global Dro search result. So you can see that hygenamine is prohibited at all times, and WADA classifies it as a beta-2 agonist, and that's why it's prohibited both in and out of competition. But we do, again, we really, so Global Dro can be a good tool to help you identify prohibited ingredients, but we do want you to remember that the label review is purely a theoretical exercise, because again, the label and the bottle contents may have nothing to do with one another, but if the label review does turn up any red flags, such as a prohibited substance, then the supplement should be avoided. Probably our best tool to help you guys, and we can circulate this document after the webinar, is what we call the red flags checklist. And I've broken it up into parts here just to go through briefly on these slides. The first part is we strongly encourage athletes to seek professional guidance on their diet. So we encourage you to consult a health professional or a dietitian to make sure there's a clear nutritional benefit before using a dietary supplement. If there's no benefit, then the risk definitely outweighs any benefit. If you don't have access to a dietitian, we understand that's not easy, and it's not something that people always have. So we do have various nutrition guides that can assist. But we definitely want you to take your time to make sure that the ingredients in a dietary supplement are really what you need. A second really important risk reduction step would be to choose only dietary supplements that are tested by a third party. So two examples of third-party certification bodies include the NSF International. They have a Certified for Sport program, and they will certify products to be banned substance-free. Obviously, there's never a 100% guarantee, but both the NSF International and also LGC, or Informed Choice, Informed Sport, do have a wide testing menu, and they test numerous batches of product. So this is a risk reduction step. So if you find that you need particular ingredients in your diet and you're determined to obtain those through a dietary supplement, then there may, and the product that you're considering is not certified, it could be that there is an equivalent product that is certified. So we'd encourage you to look into products that are tested by either NSF International or Informed Choice, Informed Sport. There are other programs as well that you should definitely look into. USADA does not endorse any particular company, but we definitely recognize third-party testing as an important risk reduction step.
Hey, Amy. I had a question here from someone asking if you could clarify some of the third-party testing again, who those all are. They just didn't catch who that was.
Yeah, so I would encourage you to look into the NSF International Certified for Sport program. So if you go to their website, just type in Certified for Sport or NSF International, then you'll discover that program. And the other one is the LGC. That's just the company, but their brand that they test under is Informed Choice or Informed Sport. I think Informed Choice is the US version and Informed Sport is the British version. But there's also the Banned Substance Control Group, and I think there's even a couple more that are just trying to get into the banned substance testing. There's also the United States Pharmacopoeia, USP. They have a dietary supplement verification program, but they do not test for substances prohibited in sport, but they have an overall quality program. And if this is a lot to try and keep track of, because I don't have it up on a slide, I can also follow up in email afterwards. Okay, so step 3 of our 4-step process is to look for specific warnings about a product. So we host the Supplement 4011 high risk list. We also host the same high risk list for the military. It's called the Ops high risk list, but it's actually the same list, but we've branded it for the military to just increase the people's recognition of that. So for those athletes who are in the military and who are also competing in triathlon or any other Olympic sport for that matter, you can visit either list. Here on this slide, we talk about Supplement 411. And if you go to the USADA website or just Google Supplement 411 high risk list, you will go there. It's a list of close to 300 products that advertise to contain substances prohibited in sport, or we've tested them and found that they've contained substances prohibited in sport. The other good website to visit is the FDA Tainted Supplements page. And if you go to this document, and we'll send it around after the webinar, there is a link on this PDF that you can just click on. But even if you just Google the FDA Tainted Supplements page, they also test dietary supplements, and there are a lot of products on there that contain illegal weight loss drugs like sibutramine, which are also prohibited in sport. So those are two lists that you should definitely check before you use a product. And if you don't find your product on the high-risk list and you don't find it on the FDA page, then we still encourage you to now do a label review looking for red flags. So we've already acknowledged that labels are not always accurate. However, it really is worthwhile to look for red flags, because if you find any, then you're better off just finding a different product. So what I'm going to do now is just walk through the most important red flags from USADA's point of view. So if a product has even one red flag, then we consider it to be high risk, too high risk for an athlete to use. So if the product is on USADA's high risk list, or if it's on the FDA Tainted Supplements page, and there you'll find the links, then of course they're high risk. If there are any substances on the water prohibited list on the label or in the product advertising. So this requires a bit of more research beyond the label. We encourage athletes to start with the label, but then visit the product website and read through all of the literature to look for any banned substances, because sometimes they use code words or different words on their label, but then they might refer to that ingredient in more common terms on their website. We strongly encourage athletes, if there's any ingredients listed on the label that fall into a general category of the water prohibited list, that you should avoid the product. So sometimes a product will list on the label pretty innocuous things, like it could just be amino acids or some proteins, but on the website they'll talk about aromatase inhibition or growth hormones or something like that. So USADA definitely considers those things red flags as well. If the company has ever received FDA warning letters or has been the subject of other enforcement actions, the chances are you can find a better product. So we definitely encourage you to type the name in of both of the product and of the company on the FDA.gov or FTC.gov website. Most people aren't necessarily familiar with the FTC. That's the Federal Trade Commission, and they regulate advertising. But they have taken many dietary supplement companies to task for advertising things that are illegal or otherwise unrealistic. So it's another good resource. Anytime you see FDA approved, WADA approved, or USADA approved, that should be an automatic red flag. We have sent many letters in the past and so has WADA, to supplement companies that make these claims. We've even peeled stickers off of actual supplement bottles that literally will say USADA approved. So we know that they're out there, but don't be fooled. And if the product is marketed for muscle building, weight loss, sexual enhancement, or energy, then that we consider those to be high-risk categories, and the FDA also considers those to be high-risk categories. So if you look on the FDA page, they also acknowledge that those broad categories of products are much more likely to contain anabolic steroids, research chemicals, stimulants, or even Viagra-like drugs. So the Viagra-like drugs, they're not prohibited in sport, but still there are health risks associated with those. And the weight loss products, if you go to the FDA page, you will see a ton of products that claim to be herbal, but they contain sibutramine. Sibutramine is a drug that was removed from the market because of health risks, very serious health risks actually, but it's also prohibited in sport. So if you end up using a weight loss product that contains that, it's a double whammy because you're putting your health really at risk, but also your athletic career.
Hi, Amy.
Yeah.
We got another question about if there is an Android or iPhone app like Supplement 411 List that have a scanning barcode feature to them, kind of like the grocery store. I know that's a question we get a lot in the Olympic education side of things too. So
we have the barcode scanner on our app, on the Supplement 411 app. So the Supplement 411 exists as a website, but we've also pulled some of the most important tools into an app, a mobile app. And if you go to your Apple Store or Google Play and you type in Supplement 411, then you'll be able to download our mobile application. And that includes, and I will talk about it later in the webinar, but that includes a barcode scanner. But the barcode scanner will only help you identify products that are on the high risk list. So, we definitely encourage you to use that. But if a product, if you're evaluating whether or not to use a product and it's not on the high risk list, you still need to go through these other steps. Or you can contact us directly and we will evaluate the product and at least tell you if we find red flags. And then if it qualifies for the high risk list, we'll put it on the list at that time. If a product advertises to deliver the same results as a prohibited substance, that's a red flag. Obviously look for things like legal steroids, legal prohormones. A big one right now are the products that claim to be for research purposes only. So right now it seems like ostarine is everywhere. We're finding it in a lot of dietary supplements right now. It's even multivitamins and electrolyte products, really seemingly innocuous products that you would not consider to be high risk. And I think it's just the ingredient of the month. But my impression is that there are a lot of manufacturing companies where this ingredient has contaminated a raw ingredient supply somewhere because it's everywhere. But it's also available as a research chemical. And if you see anything for sale that is like for research purposes only, not for human use, that should be a really big red flag. Don't buy it, don't use it. Another big one that we see a lot are products that are supposed to be used under the tongue or as a topical spray or cream. This is really increasing. So we're seeing more and more of this. And companies get away with this by saying, spray this under your tongue or swish it around in your mouth for 30 seconds before swallowing. And to me, that indicates that they're hoping for transdermal delivery. So they're trying to deliver something that can't pass through the gut. So they might try to put peptide hormones or IGF-1 or other hormones that would be digested, and they're trying to deliver it through the transdermal, through the mouth. But that is illegal. Those are not dietary supplements by definition. Anything that claims to prevent a disease or treat a disease or be an alternative to prescription medication, those are also really big red flags. Finally, products sold exclusively on the internet. That's not always a red flag, but a lot of companies try to avoid the regulatory reach of the FDA by being available only online. Without a brick and mortar address, it is harder for the FDA to target those companies and get them to come into compliance with the law. So people who are trying to skirt the law will often only have an internet presence. Finally, any ingredient that you don't recognize or that would seem out of place on a food label should be, that should be a warning to you that that's a red flag. Now, I just want to show you one product that caused a positive test in a world triathlon athlete. This is a product called Neurolites, and if you look at it, it is a very innocuous product. I'll show you the supplement label, supplement facts panel on the next page, but it just advertises to be simple electrolyte salt solution. It did cause a positive test for ostarine, and we confirmed that by testing a sealed bottle. And can definitely contain ostarine. Now this I just took from the Classified Nutrition website today, so they've obviously stopped selling it. I noticed immediately after the World Triathlon press release and our own press release adding it to the high risk list that this company took it off the market. So kudos to them for trying to identify, stopping to sell it and trying to identify the source of the ostarine, but in most cases, the product continues to be available. So this is a picture of our app. It's our Supplement 411 app. So if you download the app and you look through our high risk list, you would find this product and you would see that Neurolites by Classified Nutrition is on the high risk list because testing revealed the presence of ostarine. And you can get more information by clicking on the link here. And we also provide information about what the supplement facts panel lists. And it's simply a blend of electrolytes and rhodiola rosea and herbal. And the supplement facts panel didn't turn out very well, but you can see that it's really sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, etc. So if I were to look at this product and just do a label review, I would say, hey, these ingredients are all fine. I'm not seeing any red flags because it doesn't advertise to, it doesn't have any of those red flags that we just walked through. So I just really want to drive it home that even if you've done your due diligence and you've done your research, you can still get burned. So this is a classic example of why it's really important to use, if you choose to use supplements, something that's certified by a third party like the NSF. And I want to show you one more product that caused huge problems. This was a B vitamin. I don't have a picture of the supplement facts panel, but it's just B vitamins. That's all it is. That's all it is on the label. Healthy Life Chemistry by Purity First. They've never had any problems. I can find any information about them on the FDA page. But this product was being prescribed by a doctor, and the only reason this product was identified as problematic when it was identified is because the same doctor had prescribed it to many patients, and they all started suffering liver failure. several of them had to get liver transplants. And it was only after there were a number of injuries that the product was tested and found to contain methacillin, which is an anabolic steroid, and it is very liver toxic. So again, this is just a classic example. If we were to take this product and walk through all of those red flags, we would not identify any. It's a simple product. It doesn't make any performance enhancing claims, etc. So again, there are no guarantees just from a label review, and please, if you're going to use a supplement, use one that's certified by a third party, and I can send further information about that. So finally, I just want to point out that the difference between talking about dietary ingredients and dietary supplements. So these ingredients are fine. We get asked about this all the time. Is creatine safe? Can I use creatine? Or can I use amino acids? Or another really popular one right now are the branched chain amino acids. For some reason, they're super popular. Vitamins, minerals, whey protein, protein powder, etc. Yes, those are all fine. And if it so happens that your dietary supplement only contains these ingredients, then you're fine. These are not banned. And you can use Global Dro to look up these ingredients and find that they are not banned. But if you are just using the label to figure out what is in the bottle, then just because it only lists these ingredients doesn't mean you're safe. So, I really want to remind you that if you choose to obtain these ingredients via a dietary supplement, then you assume all the risks inherent in the supplement industry. And as always, the use of any dietary supplement is at your own risk. And my final slide, it just points out a few of our resources that we would love for you to use. Global Dro can give you the status of ingredients for your supplements or your medications. I mean, it's designed for your medications, but you can also check your ingredients for your supplements as long as you promise not to make the erroneous jump that it pertains to your final product. We do have the Supplement 411 app, so please download that. We are just about to launch an upgrade of that in a couple of weeks, actually. So if you do go ahead and download that, then in a couple of weeks' time, you will notice a few changes and improvements. We have a number of nutrition guides. Here I'm showing the True Sport one, but we also have another nutrition guide and athlete handbook that could be helpful on our website. And we have a bunch of educational videos on the Supplement 411 website. A really good one is called Decoding the Dietary Supplement Industry. If you just Google that phrase, USADA Decoding the Dietary Supplement Industry, then you'll pull up our YouTube channel. And that video really summarizes a lot of the issues with the industry. And for those of the athletes or coaches or colleagues who were not able to attend the webinar, I would strongly encourage them to watch this video. And that's all I have for you. Please ask some questions if you have questions. Otherwise, we can follow up via email after the webinar closes.
All right, Amy, we've got a few questions in here. The first question I have is, isn't creatine becoming an issue with professional sports industry?
I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. It's not an anti-doping issue. There, as always, if you're going to use a lot of a particular ingredient, there could be unintended health consequences. I know there is some literature out there showing that creatine is not beneficial in all contexts. There are some circumstances where loading too heavily on creatine actually has negative performance effects. And I know the American Academy of Pediatrics advises against young athletes using creatine. but creatine itself is not an anti-doping issue at the time.
All right, we've got a couple more. This one says, we talked a lot about supplements. Is there any food that should be avoided when traveling and making food choices in and outside of the U.S.?
Yeah, so we have an informational article about meat contamination. There are some countries where they still use clenbuterol as a bulking agent for livestock. It's unusual, but it does happen where an athlete will consume meat in China or in other Asian countries and the meat is contaminated with clenbuterol. We usually do a pretty thorough investigation to make sure that that claim is legitimate, including looking at receipts where the athletes have eaten and showing that they ate meat, etc. So I would recommend for those athletes who are traveling to countries where they do use clenbuterol as a bulking agent in livestock, keep all of your receipts for where you ate and avoid red meat if you can during that time.
Okay, the last question I have right now, unless some people add some more. Wait, my doctor prescribed me a supplement. Does that guarantee it to be safe? Can you explain the procedure for a TUE to our athletes as well?
Yeah, so some vitamins, there are prescription strength vitamins. So the first thing you should do is find out whether your doctor has prescribed or recommended an over-the-counter vitamin. Like don't be like the Purity First guy that took that vitamin. But if your doctor has prescribed injectable iron or injectable vitamins, for example, those are actually manufactured like drugs. So with much more strict manufacturing practices and approval requirements. So in that case, like if you get injectable B vitamins or iron or something like that, that is safer. If your doctor just recommends, hey, you need vitamin D, go buy some vitamin D, what I would do is find a vitamin D product that is certified for sport by the NSF or Informed Choice, Informed Sport, something like that. Or, if your doctor says take iron, again, just look for one that is certified in sport. So that's what I would do. And as far as TUEs are concerned, so a TUE is a therapeutic use exemption, and there are plenty of medications out there that are legitimate. They need to be used for your health. There's all kinds of them. There's blood pressure medications, there's diuretics, there's insulin, there's stimulants for attention deficit disorder, etc. If you need to use a medication for your health and you're also competing, you can apply for a TUE. All you have to do is go to the USADA website, usada.org, and on our front page we have therapeutic use exemption section. You just click on that, open it, it walks you through everything. Do I need one? How do I get one? We need about 21 days to process it. We can usually turn it around faster than that, but you need to plan at least 21 days to get your application in before you can use it in sport, depending on your competition level. All of that is explained on usada.org, and if you go to that website and you're confused about anything, on the margin of the website there's contact information that you can just click on and ask a question right then and there.
Okay, and then looks like we have a very classic question that I get in a lot of our presentations. Would you be able to give some good dietary supplements that are being used?
Well, it depends on your goals and it depends on your health needs. So, I mean, I guess it goes back to that first part, like make sure that there's a clear nutritional benefit for your dietary supplement. So you should work with a sports dietitian or, you know, someone with a background in nutrition to help you figure out which ingredients you're missing from your diet, what your body needs, because everyone is different. And then once you identify those key ingredients, if there are any that you can't get through food, then look for a product that is certified in sport by a third party that offers those ingredients.
All right, Amy, and then it looks like we have a question if there's been any cases of race organizers or other sports organizations that have provided supplements in the past causing an issue with a positive test.
That's a really good question, and to be honest, I'm not sure about that one. None spring to mind where the product actually caused a positive test. However, I know race organizers, national governing bodies, and almost all sport organizations are under enormous pressure to accept endorsement deals from dietary supplement companies. A lot of dietary supplement companies want to sell their products to athletes. That's, you know, a huge audience for them. And many athletes are also looking for good dietary supplements, and dietary supplements can be very expensive. So, you know, it goes both ways. You know, athletes would like to have access to safe, inexpensive products, and race organizers and sport organizations would like to be able to enter into these sponsorship deals because it's good business. But there are risks involved with that. And we do have a research article, an informational article about all of the things that you should consider as a race organizer or even as an athlete if you are considering this type of a business deal. In that case, you probably do need a business advisor, because you will need to, and probably a lawyer, to make sure that your needs are looked after, especially regarding liability. For example, if you did test positive from a product that was provided to you, you would want to have, as an athlete, you would want to have some recourse for, you know, recovering damages. By the same token, as a race organizer, you would want to make sure that you are protected and that the product will not cause any problems for your participants. So all of those things should be written into any agreement if an endorsement deal is considered.
All right, that looks like all the questions that I have on my little window right here, unless there's anything else someone wants to ask.
Okay, well, that is great. And I believe hopefully our attendees have access to our email addresses. Ben, do you know if that's the case? They would definitely have yours because as the organizer, correct?
Yep, they can definitely just send things to me if they want more information or have other questions for sure.
Perfect. Okay, so for those attendees, if you have any lingering questions after the close of the webinar, please email Ben and he'll make sure to get those to me, or he and I will put something together for you. And following the webinar, we'll also send you links to some of the resources that we talked about so that you have easy access to them. Okay, if there's no further questions, then Ben, should we just go ahead and close out?
Yep, I think we're good.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming, and we appreciate your interest, and please let us know if you have any further questions.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thanks everyone, bye.